Good morning from Athens, Greece. It is one hot Friday here, and we got to talk about the news. So let's do an update as to what's going on with Nordstream 1, and the fact that it is indeed pumping gas now to Germany and to the European Union. It is at 40% capacity, which those were the levels of capacity that it was delivering before the 10-day scheduled maintenance, and it's at 40% because of the turbine issue, the Siemens Canada Germany turbine repair issue, which has still not concluded. And there are reports now that the turbines actually have been, or the documentation of the turbines or something like that has been lost, or they just can't find it where this documentation has gone. And of course, the collective West is blaming Putin for that. But either way, it's at 40% capacity. And from what I understand, that 40% is kind of an interesting number because it's pretty much exactly what Germany, for the most part, it's what Germany needs to get by, but it's not enough to help Germany stock up on gas reserves, to stockpile the gas for the winter. So that's an interesting number, that 40%, something like 30 or 40%, if I'm not mistaken. And we're going to wait to see if those documents or those turbines, those repaired turbine documents, are found, and if they are found and everything is okay and Trudeau hasn't sabotaged those turbines, the repair of those turbines, well then we'll see if the Russians amp up the gas flow back to 100%. So Annalena Baerbock, she's freaking out, and she came out with a statement the other day saying something like, if we don't get the gas flowing, well then we're going to have public unrest and uprising in Germany. And she's all worried about the gas now. Before, it was Annalena and Ursula von der Crazy and Michel and Borrell and Habeck, Schultz. Before this whole, 10-day maintenance gas turbine issue, they were the ones saying that Germany doesn't need Russian gas. Europe doesn't need Russian gas, and we're going to cut Russian gas out of the European Union. We're going to cut Russia off, and then we're going to see Russia's economy implode. That was the narrative that Annalena and Habeck were giving us just a couple of months ago. They were talking really, really big about how they were going to destroy the Russian economy by destroying Russian energy. And now you have Miss Baerbock coming out in a panic and stating that if the gas from Russia doesn't flow again, well then people are going to rise up, and we're going to have public unrest in Germany. And she's worried because the last thing that these people in power want is for the people to rise up and give them a little bit of a Sri Lanka moment, That's what keeps them up at night. If you want to know what keeps the EU leaders, technocrats, kleptocrats, and bureaucrats up at night, it's the people finally waking up and rising up and removing them from power. That worries them. And so Baerbock now really, really likes Russian gas. Now Russian gas is A-okay. It's the best. We need more Russian gas. We can't get enough of that good Russian gas, according to the German foreign minister. Yeah, so that is what she has said. And the European Union actually wanted to pass a directive where they forced the EU states to cut off gas to the people by 15%. In other words, to reduce gas to their citizens by 15% in order to stockpile that gas out of fears that EU member states, that certain EU member states don't have enough gas in their reserves, in their stockpiles take them through the winter. And so the EU passed a directive saying that all member states, including the member states that have indeed saved up enough gas for the winter, that they're going to have to now cut the supply of gas to their citizens by 15% in order to pool together all the saved up gas from all of the EU member states and then share it across all EU member countries. In other words, you're going to punish the countries that have saved up on gas and are ready for the winter, and you're going to give that gas to the countries that acted like idiots and thought that they could actually cut out Russia from their energy mix. And Greece has said that they don't want any part of this. Portugal has said that they don't want any part of this. And Poland has come out and said, hell no. We've got a whole bunch of gas saved up and we're ready for the winter. Why should we make our citizens suffer by cutting gas to our public, to our citizens by 15%? Oh, wow, we're at a market here. And Poland is against this as well. And the Greek government actually came out and they said, look, if we cut gas by 15% to consumers, then people are going to suffer. I mean, people are going to go cold, prices are going to go way up, and it's just going to be a complete mess. And Greece said, why should we suffer? We've got our energy thing sorted out. Why should we give 15%? Why should we cut back on 15% of our energy so that we can pool it all together and then dish it out to countries like, say, Germany, who are in real big trouble? So that is the news with the gas and the energy. I'm here in this market. You can see all the fruit and vegetables and just all kinds of good things. Let me turn the camera so you can get a view of the outdoor farmers market. Very nice. Very, very nice. So let's shift gears now and let's talk about the health of a president, not President Biden. If I was going to talk about President Biden's health, that would be a complete mess of a dumpster fire to discuss in this video. This would probably end up being like a 2-hour-long video if I started talking about Bidenopolis' health. Greece's favorite son, by the way, Joe Bidenopoulos. But let's talk about Vladimir Putin's health. The Russian president. Well, the CIA director, speaking at the Aspen Security Forum, he made an interesting statement the other day. And he said that Putin, according to the CIA, is too healthy. That is his direct quote. I will put the quote up on the screen right now so you can read it. But the CIA director, he says this is not a formal medical evaluation, obviously, but he said that the Russian president is too healthy. He's not just healthy. He had to put the words too healthy. Now, I don't know how I read into that statement. To me, it sounds like the CIA director is kind of upset at the fact that Putin is in too good of a health, and the CIA needs to figure out a way to deal with that. But okay, I'm going to be quiet now because there's music. All right, I had to lower the sound there because there was the radio playing, and if the YouTube algorithms caught that, well then the video would get flagged. So what was I saying before I turned down the volume? Right, Putin's health. And Burns seems like he's a little bit upset that Putin is too healthy. I thought that was an interesting statement. So can we finally put to bed this narrative that we've been hearing for the past 4 months from the collective West mainstream media, that Putin is suffering from a heart attack, that Putin has suffered from multiple heart attacks, that Putin has multiple forms of cancer, that Putin is suffering from a bum knee and tennis elbow and a toothache and an upset stomach and all of these things. Can we finally put this to bed and not run more stories about Putin's health? And Shoigu's, by the way, as well, the Russian Minister of Defense, because all we've been hearing for the past 4 months is that Sergei Shoigu has suffered yet another heart attack. And Christopher Burns, he just blew all that apart. He blew apart that entire narrative. And it's been the UK media, to be quite honest, that has been really relentless on their stories with regards to Putin's health. The Mirror, the Sun, the Daily Mail, .co.uk, they have been running stories pretty much every day about how Putin is pretty much on his deathbed. Any minute now, Putin is a goner. Any minute now, they know it. They've got anonymous sources in the Kremlin, and they know it. They even at one point in time, I believe it was, I want to say the Sun, no, the express.co.uk. I remember this story. At one point in time, they even interviewed Christopher Steele of P-Tape, Steele Dossier fame. And Christopher Steele said that he has sources in Russia which say that Putin is in really, really bad shape health-wise. So, I mean, they've been playing this up now forever. And I'm really curious to see if they are going to stop these Putin health issue stories now. I'm also curious to see if big tech, if social media is going to deplatform the Mirror, the Sun, the Daily Mail, because they have been spreading misinformation. Actually, specifically, it's medical misinfo, because they've been spreading fake news about the health of a world leader, and it contradicts the official statements from the CIA director. So they've been spreading medical misinfo, these UK publications, and I think they should get deplatformed for the spreading of this misinfo. So, yeah, Putin, he's going to die any minute now, any minute now. He's got this disease and that disease. We've got sources. I need to get down here. We've got sources in the Kremlin, and they're telling us that Putin is a goner. And Sergei Shoigu, well, he's just had another heart attack. And Zelensky's going to be marching on Moscow any day now. The Institute for the Study of War, the Victoria Nuland, Robert Kagan think tank that's been giving out all these interesting war maps, that's been showing all of these interesting war maps and the progress of the war and how Ukraine is doing. These guys, they came out with a statement yesterday saying that Russia is running out of precision weapons, precision missiles. Yep. Any day now, Russia is going to run out of weapons. Something like 55 or 60% of all of Russia's missiles have been depleted, according to the ISW, the Institute for the Study of War. What a nice name that they thought up, the Institute for the Study of War. And yeah, so Russia's running out of weapons any day now. They've burned through 60% of their missiles, so they only have another 40% left, and then it's game over. Zelensky is going to go on the counterattack. That's the plan, right? So we got to keep on getting weapons to Ukraine. We got to keep on giving them weapons, because we just have another 40% more of Russian weapons in stock, and then it's, you know, easy peasy for Zelensky. He'll be able to lead the charge himself on horseback all the way to Moscow. So yeah, the Institute for the Study of War, that's what they're saying. And the dailymail.co.uk, they ran an article just the other day saying that British weapons are giving Putin a bloody nose. And Ben Wallace, he kind of did an audit of all the weapons that the UK has provided Zelensky since February 24th, the beginning of the special military operation. 2.4 billion pounds that could have been spent on making the lives of UK citizens better. But never mind. 2.4 million pounds in weapons were sent to Ukraine, and those weapons have made all the difference, according to the dailymail.co.uk and according to Ben Wallace. And of course, all of this was done under the leadership of Boris Johnson. And the article goes on to claim that it was Ben Wallace and Boris Johnson's leadership that has prevented Russia from actually taking all of Ukraine all the way to Lviv. And it was those British weapons that prevented Russia from taking over Kiev during the siege of Kiev, you know, the famous battle, the siege of Kiev, where 40,000 Russian troops were about to occupy a city of 3 million people, because that's all you need to occupy a city of 3 million people is 40,000 people. Easy, right? But it was those British weapons that prevented the siege from being successful. I wonder when Burns is going to come out and say that the siege of Kiev, well, that's also fiction. By the way, everybody, the CIA just wants to tell everyone that there really was no siege of Kiev. Russia wasn't going to take over the capital of Ukraine with 3 million, with 40,000 troops take a city over of 3 million people. It wasn't going to happen. So, yeah, that's the dailymail.co.uk article. It almost makes it seem like it's a pity that Boris Johnson is on his way out, because according to the dailymail.co.uk, it was Boris's Churchill-like stance against Russia that has led to Ukraine's, oh, they're building here. Let me walk this way. That has led to Ukraine's imminent victory in this conflict. So that was the news coming out of dailymail.co.uk. Poland's intelligence service, this is an interesting story. They came out with a report, and they seem to contradict the Institute for the Study of War and Ben Wallace and Bojo and the dailymail.co.uk. And they came out with a report saying that things are not going so well for Zelensky. They said that the regime in Ukraine is suffering around 300 casualties every single day. They are saying that the Zelensky regime has been hiding those casualties out of fear that they would lose public support for the war, and that the military would lose its will to fight if they actually knew the amount of casualties that they are suffering. And they also say that Zelensky's strategy has pretty much been to hold the line at Kramatorsk, Siversk, Soledar, this whole area. The only strategy that he really has is just to hold the line and to prevent Russia from gaining more territory at all costs. Prevent Russia from gaining more territory. And this Polish intelligence report has pretty much said what we have been saying on the Duran and on this channel for the past couple of months, which is that Ukraine is suffering heavy casualties. 300 is what they're saying. I would actually say it's probably double or triple that Ukraine has been hiding those casualties, and that the strategy of Ukraine and the collective West has been to prevent territorial gain at the expense of Ukrainian lives, because you can hide casualties. The media can hide casualties, but what the media cannot hide is territorial loss. And if the public realizes that Russia continues to advance and to take territory, well, the public, the citizens of the collective West, are going to give up on this Ukraine project. And if they give up on the Ukraine project, that means they give up on the money and the weapons and all of these good things that the ruling elite are cashing in on from this conflict. So that was the Polish report that came out. What else do we have to talk about? Hungary. The Hungarian foreign minister made a trip to Moscow, and he met with his counterpart, Sergei Lavrov, and they are discussing, or they did discuss, the conflict in Ukraine, but more importantly, they discussed gas and how to make sure that Hungary has enough gas to take it through the winter. Very, very smart from Hungary. They're not listening to what the EU is saying with regards to cutting Russia off. They're actually engaging in diplomacy. The foreign minister, Mr. Peter Sijarto, flew to Moscow. He met with Putin. They talked to each other. They're trying to work together to figure out how to solve problems. And more importantly, they're going to get a gas deal. And they're going to secure probably long-term contracts with Russia to make sure that the Hungarian people are going to stay warm in the winter. Very, very smart. And that gas has to go via Bulgaria, Serbia, but that's how diplomacy is done. That's how you look after your population. You know, this is basic stuff, basic diplomacy that we're seeing at play between Russia and Hungary. And it's a shame that more of the collective West leaders just don't fly to Moscow and meet with Lavrov so that they can figure out how to solve the many problems that we now have in front of us. A lot of these problems have been caused by the shock and awe sanctions, but nonetheless, it's time to engage diplomacy and to put these sanctions to bed, to get rid of these sanctions and to roll back the sanctions and to start getting some common sense in place. So that was a big story as well. And trying to think, do I have anything else that I want to discuss that was going on in the news? There is a deal between Russia, Ukraine, and Turkey that they're going to get grain out of Odessa now. And Ukraine supposedly has signed off on that as well. And I said in a previous video, I think that Russia is just kind of humoring the collective West by engaging in these talks, because they know that there was no real wheat or grain problem in Odessa, specifically in Odessa. That wasn't a really big problem, but it was just kind of more fake news in order to demonize Russia as some sort of evil state that wants to cut off the food of the people. And so Russia was just kind of humoring the collective West by engaging in these talks with Ukraine. And Turkey, of course, was playing along, mediating things, and they do have an agreement now. And ships will start leaving. From what I understand, ships will be allowed to leave the port of Odessa. So I guess they're going to demine it, and we'll start getting some ships leaving the Odessa port. So that was also a big story as well. And I think that's it. I can probably get to a clown world now. Let's talk about clown world, and let's talk about Stephen King. So Stephen King the other day made clown world because he was pranked by, I always get their name wrong, Lexus and Volvan? Lexus and Volvan? I always mess up their name. Anyway, these guys, they pranked these Russian guys, like really top-notch, top-level pranksters. They got Stephen King to admit that Bandera was a good guy, that the U.S. founding fathers were evil, and Stephen King signed off by saying "Viva Ukraine." I mean, just really just jokester stuff. I mean, they made Stephen King look like a freaking idiot. I mean, a real big-time idiot. And Stephen King was not too happy about that, because he's upset that he showed his ignorance with regards to Ukraine and Bandera, which is understandable. I think a lot of people don't know who Bandera was or what the history of Ukraine is all about, and the collective West wants to keep it that way. They want to keep it a secret because if people knew the Western Ukraine ideology that the Russians are fighting, well, then they might not be so supportive of the conflict. But Stephen King, he came out with a tweet and he said, Stephen King, this is his tweet actually, Stephen King was prank called by Vovan and Lexus. They asked him what he thinks of Bandera. His answer, I think Bandera was a great man. Pure crap. Troll, S-H-I-T. No truth to it. So that was, I guess that was Stephen King's first tweet. So he was denying that this ever took place, right? But of course, you have a video of it. I mean, it's on video, dude. The whole thing is on video. So then he came back with another tweet and he said, actually, turned out I was pranked. Had no idea who this guy Bandera was, so I'm embarrassed. But it turns out I wasn't alone. Other victims who fell for these guys include J.K. Rowling, Prince Harry, and Justin Trudeau. So yeah, so at first he tried to, I didn't see that tweet. So at first he tried to deny it. And he said, this never happened. I never said that. Pure crap. I did not say that. This is fake news, right? And then of course everyone kind of said, Stephen, you know, this is on video. It's like all over the interwebs. And then he had to just fess up and come clean. And he came clean. That should have been the first response that he said. He actually should have said that during the interview when they asked him about Bandera. He should have said, I have no idea who he is, so I don't know who this guy is, so I'm not going to comment about him. That's what he should have said during the interview, but he didn't. He wanted to virtue signal. That is what Stephen King wanted to do. He wanted to virtue signal that he's in support of Zelensky and Ukraine because that's the cool thing. It's kind of not even the cool thing anymore. Stephen King is a little behind the times, but it was the cool thing. And he wanted to virtue signal his support for the cool thing. And he got busted. He got busted. And eventually he had to come clean, which he did. And good. He came clean. He admitted his ignorance. And from now on, Stephen King should just shut up about Ukraine. Because Stephen King, you don't know anything about what the hell's going on. So you shouldn't comment anymore about it. Either way, it's okay. There are new causes now that have taken up the space of Ukraine. New cool things that Stephen King can virtue signal about. So his timing is not so bad to show his ignorance about Ukraine. Anyway, that's the video, guys. Check out Alexander's channel. Check out the Duran's channel. Go to the Duran.locals.com. Go to the Duran shop. 10% off. Use the code Good Day. And look for me on Telegram, Rumble, ODYSEE, and BitChute as well. Definitely subscribe to those platforms. Take care.